This conference will now be recorded.
Making edits for your ComScore reports has never been easier. There's a couple different ways you can do it. First, once you've logged in, you're going to go to View Past. You'll see your 5 days that you need to verify are what you ran. The first way you can make a change is if you just click using the left click on a given event. You'll see an option to edit. There will be a drop down for you to choose from your current program library to change program titles, or you can go to Options into the program filter, search for a title by entering in its title into the search bar. You can also go and use the different program types listed here or the alphabet. So depending on what you're looking for, go to that letter, select the title that you want to see in that time slot, and that's how you've selected your title. From there, if what you're looking for is not in your program library, you can also go into Options and search for a program. If you search for a program, just try to be as specific as possible when you're entering that program title. So if I enter the word Chicago, it's going to bring up everything that we have in our system with the word Chicago. Series, movies, sports, specials, you name it. You can also filter by program type. So if I'm looking for the movie Chicago and do a search, it's going to only list movie titles with the word Chicago in it. I can also limit to most common, and that's most commonly added by other MediaStar users. If I mark this checkbox right here, when I hit search again, it'll just limit those results where I can check the description, the year. If that's the one I'm looking for, I'll just mark that checkbox to the left of the title and then select Add Programs. If what you're looking for is not in our program library, then you can also create a user-added program as a last resort. You can do that by going to Options, into Create New Program, enter your program title, whatever it is you're looking to add. When you continue, it'll do a background search to see if we have anything similar to that title in our system. If it does, you'll get a list here for you to choose from. If you're not getting an option or none of those apply to the title that you're trying to select, go ahead and create new, and then just make sure your red asterisks are included. That's going to be your program title, program type, primary genre, and duration. Everything else is optional. If you want to include it, you can. Guide description is definitely something that you might want your viewers to see for future changes. You can also add text in another language, cast and crew information, and rating information. Once you have the program's fields selected that you want to enter, go ahead and save it. That too would be added into the program field as well as into your library, so you don't have to go searching for that again. Once you've added your program title, the only thing that's required is going to be your date, start time, duration. Everything else is optional. The fields that we have here are episode number. If you know that episode number, you can type it into the episode number field. You can also go into this little icon right next to options, which will bring up your episode list. When I select that, you'll get all the episodes that we have for that particular show. There's also a search bar there where you can search by episode number or title. So if I'm looking for episode 108, I can go ahead and type that in, or I can also use the episode title to search for that as well. And then I can just select that and I will have a short description of that particular episode. The other fields that you have here, your content source, you can indicate if it's local, network, or syndicated. Exceptions. The exceptions, these are the list that has been provided to us by ComScore. If you have further questions on what to use on those, you can refer to this little question mark right above that, which will explain the exceptions field in each of those field options. You can indicate if it's new or repeat, if it's an HD. EI codes are also available here that you can enter. For ComScore specifically, if you make a change, you can set today's date as the date you physically went into MediaStar and made that change. You can also add any additional notes that you want to send to ComScore in the Change Notes field. This might mean if you have an overrun for a sporting event and had to JIP the following program, If you are in a retrans agreement, you might need to indicate when you were off air on a certain provider's service. Once you have that information filled out how you like it, go ahead and save. Now, instead of Today in Iowa at 5, I have MacGyver listed here at 5 a.m. Another way I can make that same change, as well as a number of other changes, is by, again, clicking on the event, and instead of edit, go to quick edit. Quick edit allows you to bring up about 18 hours of programming, and there are a number of different modes that you can use in this option. General mode is pretty similar to making a program change. If I go in and remove This Week in Agribusiness by selecting the little trash can here to delete that event, if I select where it says no event, it brings up my program library, and I have those same options that I showed you previously, where you can add programs if the title is not listed in your dropdown. You can search for a program or create a new program from here. Otherwise, you can just use your lettering again or your different program types to be able to select a title that you want to add. So if I go ahead and select this paid program, I can enter that in there at 5 a.m. What you can also do using the general mode is right-click to copy an event and right-click to paste an event. So now I have 2 half hours of a paid program. Another option that you have in the general mode is to shorten up a title. So if I had to add in a special report and shorten up this paid program so that it's 15 minutes, I can come in here and add a special if I need to as well, from 5:45 to 6 a.m. You can also go in and use the linked mode. Linked mode comes into play when you have a sporting event or any event that goes longer than expected. So for this example, we'll say Weekend Today is a basketball game that goes into overtime. Using my slider bar or the timestamp here, I can go ahead and extend this event, and it will JIP the following program. If I need to continue to have Early Today in Iowa for the 30 minutes, I can go in, select that program so it's highlighted in blue, using my duration, add in the 30 minutes for that duration, and then it will JIP the following program. But it keeps these programs linked so that there's no gaps in your schedule. Another mode that we have here is the breakaway mode. Breakaway mode allows you to go in and add in breaking news in the middle of a title and pick up with the remainder of that title after your breaking news concludes. We'll go to breakaway in our edit mode. We're going to go to add breakaway, and then I have a title already called breaking news, so I'm just going to go to my news program type and select my breaking news. And then again, I can drag it and drop it where it needs to go. I can adjust the start time here using the timestamp. So if this started at 6:27 a.m. and only went 15 minutes, I can adjust that duration here, and then it just picks up with the rest of Weekend Today. The last mode we have here is the reorder mode. So if I need to adjust my schedule to do some make goods, I can then go ahead and just drag and drop programs however I want them to be shown in my schedule. So if we take a look at Earth Odyssey here, I'm going to highlight that so that it's in blue, and then using my slider bar, I'm going to drag it to the 5 a.m. time slot, and then it pushes the rest of my titles down the 30 minutes. What's nice about the quick edit is that as you're getting comfortable with this, you can also reset all prior to saving. So if you're not comfortable with the way that this schedule looks, you can reset all. It will take your programming back to the way you had it. If this is how you want your schedule to be, go ahead and hit save now, and that would adjust your programs that we had made changes for right here. On top of that, if you need, there's also an option when making a bunch of edits, especially with a quick edit, to set exceptions. So if I need to set exceptions for multiple programs at one time, I can go into this Set Exceptions button. It brings up the entire broadcast day that I have for that particular day that I selected. So it has your Saturday, July 15th, 2023, I can select the entire broadcast day for holiday programming specifically. I can just set an exception for that, and it will list all of my exceptions. I can also go in and just select individual events and what I need to modify or set exceptions for. So if one of those were off air, or if you had technical difficulties during certain programs, you can select the program titles that affected. You can also set change dates, and you can add change notes if you need to as well. Once you have that information listed, go ahead and update events. Those are the two different ways that you can go in and into MediaStar and edit programs for ComScore.